Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at ways we can use the console window within Flowcode. If you look under View and Consoles, then we have this console window that allows us to read and write text. At the moment there's two tabs. There's a default tab and there's an eBlocks Auto ID tab. As you can see, I've got no eBlocks connected, so it's just saying no was detected. But what you can actually do is you can start to add your own tabs here, and that can be quite useful when it comes to simulating programs or creating a component or creating an app developer program and passing data back and forth. It can also be useful for doing things like logging events, so detecting when things happened. Now, to use the console, there is a set of commands in the simulation built-in functions. If we go down to console, then there's a number of functions here to allow you to do various things with this console window. Unfortunately, these are very powerful and they allow you to do a lot of things, but in doing so they're quite complicated to use, and they take quite a bit of setup, and they can be very confusing. So what we've done is, instead of forcing you down the route of having to do things from low level and from scratch, we've created a component library called the console writer. In embedded mode, that's available from the runtime menu, and it's under Indicators Console Writer. And then if I go to App Developer, then that's available under Indicators and Console Writer. So if I double click it and I add it to my panel, you can see it just adds on a small block like this on my panel, just to indicate that we have this component loaded in our program. If I bring up the console window, you can see it's created a tab for me called Console Writer. If I go to the properties of the component, then I can change this to anything that I want. And you can see I've renamed it there to my console. By default we have a number of colours, and you can obviously change these to be whatever you want, and these are basically just baked in colours that you can call upon. There is also a way to set any colour. So you've got set colour index. This calls one of these 4 baked in colours, or you've got set colour, which allows you to enter a full RGB value. You've got a number of properties to dictate what happens when you add data. Does it automatically add a new line after every data? Does it clear the console when you start the simulation? Does it add a timestamp on the beginning of every new line? And if it does, then here is the properties for the timestamp, how the timestamp should look. And obviously if you turn it off, then that goes away. So let's create a really simple program. Let's turn it so it doesn't clear on simulation start. We'll have a new line after the data. Okay. So we want to add a string. We'll create a string variable and call it str. What I'll do is I'll create a very simple loop which samples an analog input. So if I add a loop, if I add a control, which is a circular knob, currently that ranges between 0 and 100. So I want to get the value. That returns a floating point value. There we go. call that knob. We then have a calculation icon to convert our floating point value into a string value. So we could say knob colon plus float to string knob, and then we'll have 1 decimal place. And then let's add a small delay of say 2 seconds. And then when we run the program, you can see the value is being recorded. We've got a timestamp. Very easy, very straightforward. We could even have, let's see, a decision which says if knob is greater than 50, then we'll set the colour to red, so colour 1. Set colour index is 1. Otherwise, we'll set it to green, which is colour index 2. There we go. As soon as it goes over 50, it's now red. Below 50 is green. And obviously you can create as many console tabs as you want just by adding more console writer components. If you right click the console, then you can create a new tab group, and this basically creates a new facet to the window which allows you to display a new console tab, so you can have more than one open at once. So you can see we can have 2 different tabs open at the same time within the same window. Thanks for watching. As always, I've been Ben Rowland, and this has been Flowcode version 9.